I'm Rachel Patzer. I'm an epidemiologist and a professor at Emory, and I am the data chair of the Southeastern Kidney Transplant Coalition.
And I'm Stephen Pastan. I'm a transplant nephrologist. I'm the medical director of the Kidney and Pancreas Transplant Program at the Emory Transplant Center and also a professor at Emory. And I'm the chair of the Kidney Transplant Coalition.
Southeastern Kidney Transplant Coalition was formed in 2010 because at the time our region in the Southeast, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, had the lowest rates of kidney transplant in the entire nation.
We have two missions. The first mission is to improve access to transplant, but we also have a mission to decrease disparity in access to transplant. Our programs have focused on the research side to understand what those disparities are, but also on an action side to create programs that are targeted to reduce these disparities and make transplant access more equitable. And the Georgia Transplant Foundation has really been a terrific partner in supporting us in our work.
One of the early things we had done in the Southeastern Kidney Transplant Coalition was form a collaborative of the transplant centers to share data on steps in the transplant process that no one is collecting nationally. As an epidemiologist working with the data, that's been really helpful, I think, to inform where do we need to target interventions. And so I think what's been another unique aspect of our coalition and our group is that we didn't just stop at collecting the data and looking at understanding what those barriers were. We actually went to the next step and did research on interventions and developing interventions to improve access to transplant. Georgia Transplant Foundation, one of those examples of those interventions was their dialysis liaison program or their peer mentoring program. And we actually used that in an intervention, tested that, found that that was one of the interventions that actually improved access to transplant and also reduced racial disparities in access to referral for transplant.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I work with Apex Health Innovations and I am a social worker with Piedmont Transplant Institute. I have a great opportunity to bridge between the transplant center and the data side with Apex Health Innovations. They work with the Southeast Kidney Transplant Coalition and really provide a lot of the data that helps us have the conversations about the inequities that our patients are experiencing, that we're seeing in the communities. Dr. Patzer and Dr. Pastan, I get giggity-gooed whenever I have a conversation with them, but they're really dedicated, passionate people who understand that we have a problem and they have the education and the insight and the resources and the relationships to really address it, and it's super exciting to be around them and to be a part of helping with the mission. It's really exciting.
My name is Kirk McComb. I'm a dual transplant patient of heart and kidney from Piedmont Hospital, and this is my wife, Dee. Had an issue with cancer first and had some issues with the chemo medicine that was taken and got cured from the cancer and worked a couple of years traveling on my job and had a stroke. I was unable to talk and speak, worked my way through coming back from the stroke and went back to work again and started having some issues with my heart. And during that phase of waiting to be listed for the heart transplant, I started issues with my kidney at the same time. I was very emotional during that time frame. One of the things the Georgia Transplant Foundation worked with me was to come up with ideas for us to help raise money to help with the cost of the medicine I was taking.
It's very difficult sometimes to even talk about what we've gone through because unless you've been there, you really don't know. And when Kurt was going through his health issues, sure, I knew what transplants were. We were also a donor family. But to have the direct effect on us directly from being a donor family and then turning around waiting to be a recipient family, it was a lot. I'm grateful for the services the Georgia Transplant Foundation have given, such as just not the fundraiser, but how to get your medicine, how to ask for discounts in your medicine. They even provided a retreat for us as a married couple. And that was so enlightening because there were other transplant patients there. And to hear someone else's story sometimes make you feel like, hey, this journey is not that bad after all, you know? We're mentors. I'm just so grateful that we're allowed to be able to help someone else.
Just to let people go through the phases I went through with other people, to let them know it's okay to be positive to this whole time frame. And then you got somebody, a resource like me and Dee, to help you, guide you through the steps, and to let them know that it's going to be okay.
I think it's important for everyone to be educated about being registered to be a donor. I think that's really important. I think, as the old saying goes, you can't take your organs to heaven with you, so let someone on earth use them. You know, you can't take your money with you either. So look, dig deep in your pockets, contribute with a smile, because what other reason are we here for but to serve each other?
I am so incredibly thankful to be working with Dr. Pastan. He's been an incredible colleague over the last 13 years and mentor to me.
This whole project is really, in a lot of ways, Dr. Patzer's brainchild. I've been happy to be a contributant, but I really would credit her with the energy that's really made this entire project possible. It's been, you know, really an honor for me to be able to work with her and be part of her research group.
But I also want to talk a little bit about Southeastern Kidney Coalition because, oh my gosh, they invited us in, and I tell you, from day one, I felt like family. Rachel is awesome. She's like an angel here on earth. She has done so much behind the scenes for over the years that I didn't even know existed.
Well, the Georgia Transplant Foundation, GTF, affectionately known in the community, is just hope in a bottle. It is the full circle of financial assistance, support assistance, education, and it's all led by this small group of people that you would think would take an army to do, and they are just super thoughtful. You can always get someone on the phone or respond to an email. We are so fortunate to have them. So many patients benefit from their programs, not only the financial assistance of post-transplant when you're really struggling to get back on your feet after a major operation, but also getting into the door at a transplant center and helping with the transportation. And say you have to stay overnight, the Georgia Transplant Foundation can help with access, and then their great mentor program and their support groups. It's just, I could go on and on.